our journey into building tomorrow's workforce. This is Unveiling Future Careers, the CTE Showcase webinar series made possible through funding by the Bay Area Community College Consortium and presented by Workforce Innovation Labs, where education meets industry. Workforce Innovation Labs partners with colleges and regions across California to design, strengthen, and scale strategies that align learning with real-world careers. We're shining a spotlight on CTE excellence, best practices, and innovations ready for replication statewide. Every theme in this six-part series was crafted to advance the Chancellor's 2030 vision for success. Webinar 6 marks the finale of our series, and we close by looking ahead towards emerging industries, evolving delivery models, and the future of workforce preparation in California. Today's session explores how colleges are responding to rapid economic and environmental change. We're spotlighting 3 powerful examples of innovation in action. Imperial Valley College's Lift of the Valley program, preparing students for careers tied to the growth of lithium and the new regional economy. Skyline College's Barbering, Cosmetology, and Esthetician program, a replicable hybrid model that centers access, equity, and student support in hands-on fields. West Los Angeles College's California Center for Climate Change Education, a first-of-its-kind initiative creating pathways into clean energy and climate technology careers. This finale is not just about what's working now, it's about what's next. How colleges can anticipate workforce shifts, design programs that move at the speed of industry, and ensure students are prepared not just for today's jobs, but for the future ahead. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Mari Morris, Project Manager with Workforce Innovation Labs, and I have the honor once again serving as your facilitator today for this webinar. Joining us on the call are Audrey Libador and Xavier Nazario, Managing Partners at Workforce Innovation Labs. And in addition, we have Pat Aquino, our amazing project management assistant, and likely the friendly name you've seen in your inbox. Today, we'll hear 3 lightning presentations. After each presentation, we'll pause for a short Q&A session with that presenter. You can submit your questions at any time using the Q&A box. If you're not sure where to find it, maybe look at your toolbar now. Typically at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you should see a button labeled Q&A. Click that, type your question, and hit submit. We'll answer as many questions as possible live after each presentation. And if we don't get to your question, we'll be able to have the presenter answer it in the Q&A panel throughout the session. And at the end of today's session, we'll ask that you complete a brief post-webinar survey. As a thank you, the first 60 attendees who complete the survey will receive a DoorDash gift card to those that qualify. So think of that survey as your ticket to lunch. All right, to kick us off, I'm pleased to introduce Efrain Silva, the Dean of Economic and Workforce Development at Imperial Valley College. His leadership has been recognized with SDSU's Distinguished Alumni Monty Award, as well as the Oatley Award, the highest civilian honor awarded by the Mexican government to individuals living abroad. Today, Efrain will share how Imperial Valley College is preparing students for Lithium Valley through Lift the Valley, a 1-year certificate program designed to create rapid industry-aligned pathways into emerging lithium careers, as well as what other colleges can learn from building programs around new regional economies. Welcome, Efrain. We are so excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm very happy to share with you the efforts from Imperial Valley College to enter into really a new phase of economic and workforce development in our community, thanks to the newly developed critical minerals industry. First, I want to thank and recognize the work of the organizers, Mary and Patricia. The organization, planning, and preparation for today's seminar was just incredible. I've never faced such preparation and guidance from you all, so thank you so much for that. Okay, so first, I think it's important to spend a few minutes just describing Imperial Valley College. I think it's important from the foundation of my presentation. First of all, we are a Hispanic serving institution. 92% of our students are Hispanic. We are a rural community college that serves a small population in a very large geographic region. So consequently, we are the only option for many of our students and residents for higher education, whether it's career technical education, personal development, or transfer level programs. We also have consistently had the highest unemployment rates in the nation, currently about 17%, the lowest per capita income, California. These factors are driven by a unique economic conditions and dynamics that will take too long to describe here. We are an agricultural-based economy with a low industrial footprint, particularly around advanced manufacturing. So this is about to change. Governor Newsom a few years ago announced the development of Lithium Valley. It turns out that Imperial Valley has among the highest deposits of lithium in the world, and lithium is classified as a national security priority, and the industry will bring the potential of significant economic benefits, including jobs for the residents. So now that we know this, how do we get ready for this? What do we do now? So first of all, we needed to find out from industry, what specifically are you going to need as the industry evolves? We found out, we were told that about 80% of the new jobs will go to community college technical programs, and about 20% will go to professional positions like engineering. So they asked for short-term certificate programs that I'll describe shortly, a curriculum, a program that truly addressed their specific industry needs. They asked for a lot of hands-on training. They asked for students to come in with practical understanding via hands-on training via internships. On the professional side of things, our counterpart locally, San Diego State Imperial Valley campus, is also developing new electrical and chemical engineering programs that will satisfy the need on the professional side for this new industry. So without the physical and instructional infrastructure for these new programs, we basically have to start with a blank page. So then we went out to work, right? We gather our partners, the lithium companies, there's three of them, and they really came through. They provided all of the key personnel to work with us from their engineering side, HR side, all of the applicable players came to join us to develop this curriculum. We also brought industry experts that we found. Our employee engagement with our regional consortium, which I think is the best in the state, personal bias, centers of excellence as well, our EDC, our county workforce board, and of course our faculty that were instrumental in developing something innovative, something that did not have previously. So what we delivered, three new one-year certificate programs based on the identified need of the industry, and I'll go over that shortly. We also develop a complete pathway for our students. We have a certificate program that can lead to an associate degree, that can lead to a bachelor's degree in industrial automation. All three programs have heavily contextualized learning. We have purchased equipment. All the equipment that you see around the slide is actual equipment that we have purchased in the last 2 years, and we spent well over $2 million in equipment that is consistent with the industry needs and what industry uses in their operations. So I want to take a minute to just talk about the three programs that we develop, again, in consultation with industry and their projections for workforce as this new industry begins to develop. Our plant operator program, which started in fall 2023, we're just completing our second cohort of this program. We started a chemical lab technician program in fall of 24. And the new one, the third leg of our programs, the instrumentation technician program that began in fall of 2025. Challenges that we had to develop, that we had to overcome as we worked in the curriculum was math. A lot of our CTE students do not do well in math, so we work with our math faculty to develop contextualized math programs. So we develop a math program specifically for these programs. Our chemistry program, our chemical lab technician program, and faculty who's used to running transfer level programs and now working on chemistry with a career technical focus also were instrumental. English literacy may be a challenge for some of our students, so we are working and completing our vocational ASL program. We also felt that industry certifications were really important. So we connected with SACA, the Smart Automation Certification Alliance, for third-party certification. We're about to complete our association with NC3. And of course, all of our students that go through the safety training of the program also qualify for the OSHA certification, either the 10 or the 30. Okay, so we have a full scope of opportunities for our students from a one-year certificate program, one of the three. We have an industrial automation associate degree that leads into our bachelor degree, also in industrial automation, and our industrial automation bachelor program is slated to begin in fall of 2027. So challenges, what I just described to you in the last few minutes really took us about 3 years to develop. So challenges, the biggest challenge of all is that these workforce projections that were developed by the industry have yet not materialized to the level that we expected. They're coming. It's just there are other challenges that have really slowed down the actual opening of these manufacturing operations. We didn't have the space, so we were cramped in our facilities. There is a plan to build a lithium facility on campus, but that'll take a few years to complete. Finding faculty with the expertise that is necessary has been challenging. Interestingly enough, we were really high in industry recognized credentials, but we're finding out that the local industry is not so much, right? So we're having to work with them and educate them to recognize the value of industry recognized credentials. In all honesty, our chemical technician program has not done as well as we expected in terms of enrollment. So we're meeting with faculty in the next few days to try to come up with some strategies to make that enrollment better. In non-traditional enrollment, most of our courses are enrolled by males. So we're looking for opportunities also through non-traditional students. Opportunities, these are not lithium exclusive programs. They cross into other areas. Our industry engagement is strong. We're looking to get our high school dual enrollment program off the ground. We're working on getting a certified critical minerals lab facility in place, and there may be other opportunities that we have not yet identified. I think what's made this successful is we have faculty champions. If you don't have a faculty champion on your staff, things are not going to work. So you need someone that's going to push the agenda, that's going to push the curriculum. We have a very strong student support system. We were able to get some funding, so all of our students right now are qualifying for paid internships as they go out and do their hands-on. And from a sustainability perspective, actually, we keep applying for grants. We've used a lot of Perkins and Strong Workforce Funds, and also our industry partners have been key in helping us develop the infrastructure for these programs. Next slide. Okay, just a real quick success story. That's why we are here. A student of ours who was working at Target 20 hours a week, part-time employment, and right after completion of the program was hired by one of the local cities in their water operation. So now he's making $40 an hour, full-time employment with benefits. And so I could not do the work that we do without all of these people here in front of you. So I have an incredible team, and I'm so fortunate. Thank you for your time.
Ephraim, thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like we learned a lot about the challenges and advantages of the work that you've been doing, and it really speaks to the flexibility that you have and the agility you have to have with the changing demands of industry. So thank you for that. We do have some questions in the Q&A, and the first one is, did you encourage faculty to engage in the contextualized course development, and did you embed tutors? Like, how did you make that happen?
So yes to all of that. So I think on the industrial operations, it was easy to make that transition because our CTE faculty is used to having contextualized instruction. I think it was more difficult on the chemical lab technician side because our chemistry faculty, their focus was transfer level courses, right? They were not comfortable with CTE type chemistry. So my thanks to them and that they really work. So our chemical lab program has non-transfer level chemistry classes that are really geared more towards career technical education and more of the hands-on applications than the theory applications.
Great, thank you. And another question was, what are your conversion rates from internships to employment?
So right now we're batting about 50%. I wish it was better. Again, we have some local economic challenges, and again, the industry has not evolved to the point that that we expected them to be at this point in time. They have some more of their own internal challenges in terms of really getting off the ground. So we have really scaled back in terms of enrollments until the industry is able to catch up to us, and we will match our enrollment with projected openings when they begin to happen.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Also, I had a question about because you mentioned some of the challenges with like the value of certifications and there need to be education done with industry partners. Who did that? And like, how did you approach building that bridge and really creating an
So
understanding?
So that's a work in progress. The first time that we met with the industry, when we went over the advantages of SACA certification, a few of them said, "I don't care about that. I'll do my own testing. I don't need the certification." So it's gone through an evolution to really identify what that really means when you have a third-party certification. So that's work in progress. I don't know that we're there yet. It's going to take some time for industry to really begin to recognize and value those industry certifications.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I mean, we're all learning here, right? And then I have another question. What You touched on it a little bit, but could you talk a little bit more about some of the academic bridge strategies for student supports that have been most effective in addressing the math, science, and language readiness challenges? Because I think that applies to a lot of programs across
Yeah,
the state.
so we the tip a lot of our CTE students have difficulty with traditional math. That's just kind of the realities of things. So we knew that if we included in our program traditional math, that may set them up for failure. So we worked with the faculty to develop a contextualized, industry-specific math course, and that took a long time. I think that we had to go back to the chancellor's office at least 3 times for reviews and make sure that it met the core components of the math course. This is a transfer level course, right? So the rigor of the course had to match transfer level courses. So it took a long time. It took like a year and a half to finally get approval from the chancellor's office for the new course. And that's just, again, that's something new for our math faculty. They're not used to these kinds of curriculum that is more focused on practical applications of math instead of theory.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that's good expectation setting too, that the patience and the tenacity you have to keep pushing these things through. We have another question in the chat. So you mentioned a $2 million in equipment using SWF and Perkins. What other funding sources did you use beyond the workforce funds and Perkins?
So we were very fortunate. We did receive a Department of Energy grant for about $2 million that we spent a significant amount of money amount of that for the new equipment. Strong workforce. Our colleagues from the region have been very generous in terms of a strong workforce allocation. We use Perkins. We just got another grant funded through the state. So we've been very fortunate in being able to successfully get grants that at some point that will end, right? So I think we have in our plan at the end of the day to institutionalize these programs. And I don't know how long we can keep up with grants, but we've done really well. All of the equipment that we have is basically the equipment that we need for the operation. So I think from the infrastructure perspective, we've done pretty well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, some amazing work and important things for the future, right, as things scale. So, again, thank you so much, Efrain. And to our attendees, please feel free to continue asking questions in the chat. If there's additional questions for Efrain, he can answer them in the Q&A chat. But we're going to go ahead and go to our next presenter. But thank you, Efrain.
Thank you.
So next up, I'm excited to introduce Cassidy Ryan, the program coordinator for the barbering, cosmetology, and aesthetics department at Skyline College. A product of career education herself, Cassidy brings over 20 years of experience across both privatized and public career education. She is deeply committed to expanding access and student success in hands-on fields. Today, Cassidy will share how Skyline's BC programs pioneered online delivery during the pandemic, evolved into a replicable hybrid model that intentionally centers support for a highly diverse student population. Welcome, Cassidy. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Um, can you all see?
Yeah. It's good to get.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. I just want to start by saying thank you, Mari and Pat, for having me today. I'm so excited to talk to you about Skyline College and the work we've done with our BCE program. So, as mentioned, our BCE program is barbering, cosmetology, and aesthetics. Today, I'm going to primarily talk about barbering. That's our newest program, our most innovative program. I'm also going to talk about, like Mari mentioned, how we transitioned from a really traditional in-person to a hybrid model that's really been suiting our student needs much more, has allowed us to bring in so many more populations and demographics, and has really erased a lot of barriers for our students. So, first of all, just a basic program overview. Our programs are all 1 year in length, so 2 semesters. They're very fast paced. We have daytime programs, evening programs. We try to serve all students, all populations, and get that education as fast as possible. I'll also talk more about how we stack these programs in a few slides, but all of our programs are aligned with California state licensure. So barbering, cosmetology, and aesthetics licenses are required by the state of California. So our curriculum is based in that. So first, who our programs serve? We are in the Bay Area. I love the Bay. I'll talk about it all day. I think we're just the epicenter of culture. Well, LA is too, but we serve everybody out here. So we primarily serve San Mateo County, but we also serve San Francisco, San Jose, the Alameda County across the bridge. So we get just an amazing population of students, but we do also get a lot of first generation students, a lot of children of immigrants, a lot of underserved communities, a lot of adult learners, many students that are working for their family and coming to school. So we are definitely seeing a lot of different learning styles, different ages, lots of different challenges and greatness that our students bring to the table. And all of them are really seeking that entry level livable wage, and that's what our programs are geared to do. So, like I said, we align our curriculum to our state board, and that's kind of like the bullet point of it, but we really pride ourselves on the fact that our programs are built to make our students successfully pass the state board exam, but also successfully live and work in this industry. So not only do we align to that state board curriculum, we also have a salon, a shop, and a spa at our school where our students serve their community. They act as though it's an up running business. We do a lot of classes on career readiness, on job skills, on professionalism, on even simple things, life skills, how to interact with cultures you haven't met before. So we really try to focus in on getting through that state board exam, going out and being not just a great stylist, a great barber, but a great human, someone who really adds value to their community, who gives back to their community, and who sees themselves as a valuable asset to this industry. And then, of course, we help with career readiness and licensure prep. So we embed all of those things, which I'll talk about in just a second here. As I mentioned, we want to remove barriers. When we built our barbering program, we really sat down and talked about our objectives. And what our objectives were to bring in our lowest represented demographics, which at the time were men and men of color. And that was kind of who we directed that program to. And what we looked into is like, what are the barriers that these demographics are facing? Why is it difficult for them to come to college? Or why aren't they feeling welcomed at college? Or what's happening? So we really tried to look into that and then develop our program to break down those barriers to make this a more comfortable place for those students so that they feel they belong here. And what we found was by implementing cohort-based learning, meaning they start as one, they end as one. 30 students come in, they stay together, they find themselves as a family, they work together, they're a team, and that really helps them hold each other accountable to keep coming, as well as working on each other, having that hands-on opportunity. On top of that, we've also structured all of our programs so that they can see a win in the short term and then long-term possibility. So our programs are 1 year, but then we have other certificates. So it's like once you get that 1 year program done and you get your license, there's opportunities to take a summer course that would allow you to get a second license or a third license. And then you can continue on. All of our programs are attached to an associate's degree. So when we started showing it like, hey, we can achieve something right now, and then we can keep achieving and be lifelong learners, we've actually found that to be really successful. In fact, Right now, about 40% of our students have returned for at least a second license, and about 10% of our students have continued on for an associate's degree. We serve 240 students a semester. So we are really loving that continuation. We're loving seeing our people. They feel like this is their home and that they've gotten something from here and they want to give back. And that was the goal of the program. So by adding these things that embedded academic support, we have worked with all of our learning communities, worked with our local salons and shops to be present from day one and to always be supporting and embedding that right into our curriculum, right into our culture at Skyline. It's really helped them be successful. And then, of course, every year we try to sit down, look at our curriculum, talk about our lesson planning, and really make sure, are we representing our students? Do they see themselves in this curriculum? Do they see themselves in these spaces? And are we providing that mentorship so that they can see how they could be successful in the long term? Obviously, the workforce and economic impact, everybody knows career education is on the rise. It's never going to hurt to have a hands-on skill. I remember when I became a cosmetologist, my dad told me this is the one thing no one can ever take away from you is your skill. And I like to tell our students that same thing. There is such a demand right now for barbers, cosmetologists, estheticians. The beauty industry is booming, and it doesn't mean being behind a chair. It could be in skincare development. It could be in so many different avenues that we like to share with our students. Okay. Obviously, replication could be a little bit challenging, so we do like to work with people on that. We started off very, very small. It's scalable. As I mentioned, we stack, so I want to go ahead and move past that. Funding and sustainability, much like we just heard, a lot of our funding comes from Perkins. Most of our funding comes from Perkins and strong workforce funds, as well as, anybody we can get to try to help us with one-off projects. We try to find that funds when it's available. And lastly, I want to say thank you. Here are our 3 Instagrams if you'd like to visit us or check us out. It's just been such a pleasure sharing this with you.
Thanks so much, Cassidy. I can feel the passion that you put into it. I appreciate you sharing that because it's as a fellow instructor, it's always inspiring to see other academics like feel that passion. So thank you for sharing that. And what scheduling models or student support strategies have you felt most improve the persistence or completion among adult learners or working students as you defined your population?
When we first decided we wanted to revamp how we looked or our scheduling, we actually did interviews with the students and got so much information on like, this would be so much nicer if it started at 8 a.m. or if you staggered us. So we do a daytime and an evening. We really try to work it so that it would be what would be traditional work hours. So our students who are working a traditional day job, they typically can find a program that starts after 5, even have one that starts at 6. We also have daytime programs that if they, need to be out by noon, we have one that starts at 8 a.m. So we try to make it so that all of our students are, able to find where they can be. And then we give that opportunity for feedback. And our students have realized that if they share with us, we can adjust. For instance, we just moved down the start time to one of our programs because our students shared with us they couldn't get their kids to school. It was too early. So, hearing that, it's like we want to support parents. So we moved our start time down and suddenly that class filled all the way to the top. So it's like I think when we listen to our students and build around their needs, it becomes very easy to make a schedule structure.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that and how much y'all stay, again, flexible with the student needs. I love that. We've got another question in the chat. And as a college with summer and winter breaks, how does your 1-year program work? What does your schedule look like? Well, we got a couple questions, I guess, here. And what are
Yeah.
your state board limitations on how many hours a student can earn in 1 week? So tell us more.
Okay. I will say one great thing that came out of COVID is the state finally allowed us to go hybrid, and that was a game changer. So prior to that, we really struggled to get it into 2 semesters. A lot of times it was a 3-semester or 2-semester and a summer. Our students don't have a limit on how many hours they can earn per week, but our students do earn a percentage of their hours by doing asynchronous work online. It's about 10%. So they come to school for 32 hours a week. That's our full-time program. And then they get, a blanket number of hours at the end of the semester for passing their online theory work. So that's really what made that possible. They are full-time students. We always joke like because our students wear all black, so we're like they're on campus all the time. They move in huddles. Like they're probably the people you see on campus the most. It's like a full-time job. But there's not a state board limit, but we are required to keep track.
Okay.
Hopefully that answered your
Yeah,
question.
I think you covered it. Thank you. We've got another question in the chat. How does the cost of attendance compare to other private options in the Bay? I know we talked about that when we met. The cost.
Yes, thank you for asking. I'm so sad I didn't say it. Okay. Um, Amazing. The Bay Area private colleges, for barbering, let's say, it's about 36,000, 30 to $36,000 for the program. Our program, depending, if you get free college, then you're probably going to get through barbering for a grand total of around 3,000. That's the kit and the class cost. If you're not on free college, then it's probably going to be closer to like 4,000. But all of our programs are under $4,000. And then if you get free college, then it's even less. But our goal was we don't want our students leaving with debt. We want them leaving with tools and ready to excel.
Amazing. Has Skyline integrated entrepreneurship curriculum into the BCE programs?
So we have our entrepreneurship program is located within our business department. So we've actually partnered with that instructor, and they do come and visit during the semester as like a guest speaker, and then they actually offer an entrepreneurship class over the summer that our students get priority enrollment into and can earn hours for being at.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
And just like inspiring the idea too that there are opportunities within our own colleges to have that cross collaboration to help those wraparound services
A
first.
100%. We found a few classes within our college and even our sister college that do work into the state curriculum and our hours eligible. So during the summer, we don't teach any core classes, but we do give our students a list of classes they could take to earn hours that are kind of outside of our department, but within our industry.
Amazing. I've got at least one more question, but so you touched a little bit, Cassidy, on the fact that each year you go back and evaluate, like, is this really representing our students? But can you take a little bit more how you maintain the consistent instructional quality and assessment standards across, these training experiences and these classes that you're giving these students?
Sure. I mean, a big piece of this is a team. We're so grateful to be able to have what we have. We have a large team, and when you say I'm passionate, like they are equally as passionate. So we work together very, very well. And so we have set our assessment standards and really coordinate them across the board that they match. And that we're actually running them and checking them and talking about them. There's no like embarrassment, like if it didn't work, why? And we talk about that as a group and as a team. And that's really helped us, one, keep all of our classes at a consistent level. Our students know what to expect in every class, but has also allowed us to, lift each other up in assessment models, in developing assessments that are more suited to what outcomes we're looking for. And that's just that's that reiteration consistency. Every year sitting down and looking at what could be better.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the willingness too to like experiment and know that sometimes things don't work
Yeah.
and try again.
Yeah.
Like we
We celebrate that in our department when someone's like, "Man, that was terrible." We're like, "Yay, let's fix it." So you have to be open to that.
definitely, definitely. I think that's an important part of just learning in general. So that's amazing that you modeled that as well. I did have some questions. I was curious more about because you have essentially these businesses on campus. Do those generate significant income for the program? And how do you balance that with like making sure that it's affordable and equitable to like the people coming as your, clients at the
Right.
salons or the
Yeah.
barbershop? Yeah.
It generates funds. It doesn't generate a ton of funds, and it's certainly not what we rely on to run our program. It pays for barely one-fourth of our supplies. So it's certainly not our funding source, but it does pay for a little bit. And the goal of it truly is to get the students the experience they need. So we actually price it probably at about like 20% of what you could expect industry standard to be. So a traditional haircut in San Francisco is about $100. It's $20 at our school. It's $10 for students at our school. Um, and then we also give the students opportunities to do models and whatnot. So we get a ton of community presence because of that pricing scale. And we find that that really is what flows our funding along for that. So we do get a good amount of money, but it doesn't fund us.
That makes sense because you have to balance, because it is a student run experience,
Right.
right? But you want to make sure that you still continue to get those clientele that are willing to come in and have that experience of learning
Totally.
along with the
Yeah.
student.
Mhm.
Um, and so that the student gets those hours. So that makes sense.
Right. And the students take ownership of it too, right? Like, you have to imagine who we're going to get in the salon. I tell the students all the time, if you don't want to roll a perm every single day, because that's who's coming, then you have to bring your own clients. You have to find the people you want and have them come in at these prices and then transition them into your client in the industry.
Amazing. Yeah, that's such a great example of how you empower your students too to take ownership of like this is their program, this is their experience too, and the investment they make is part of their future too. So,
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Cassidy. I appreciate all that you shared and the inspiration that you gave us today. But next, to close our presenters today, we're pleased to welcome Dr. Joe Tavares, the founding director of the California Center for Climate Change Education at West Los Angeles College. Since launching the center in 2023, Joe has led science-based climate education and workforce initiatives grounded in equity and environmental justice, working closely with students, faculty, industry, and community partners. Joe brings a background in marine and environmental science education, nonprofit work, and public service. Today, Joe will share how West LA College is building a first of its kind campus-based on-ramp to clean energy and climate tech careers, and how this model can be adapted to support student access to rapidly growing industries across the state. Dr. Tavares, welcome. Thank you for
Thank,
joining us.
thank you so much, Mari. And I will share my screen now. Right here. All right, can you
Perfect.
see my screen? All right, wonderful. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Workforce Innovation Labs, for having us, Mari and Patricia for organizing us. I'm going to second what Ifrane and Cassidy already said. This has been a fantastic experience. And yes, we will be talking about the work we are doing at the California Center for Climate Change Education. We are physically located at West Los Angeles College in Culver City. And I will talk a little bit more about how we are serving community college in the whole region. We have a very strong partnership with the LA Regional Consortium, LARC. Big shout out to that group and the amazing work they do here in the region. And I will go into more details about how we are also striving to serve all the 116 colleges in the state. Our main driving principle is the notion that every career is a climate career. And what do we mean by that? Climate change will affect every sector of society, is already affecting many, and eventually will affect every sector of society. Think supply chains, think safety, workforce development has so many parts to it. And so understanding how all these different components of training the workforce and preparing society for what's already happening and what's coming is kind of at the heart of what we do. And we also see in this need an opportunity, because we know that there will be a need for students or a need for workers that understand the complexity of climate change. And so we see here an opportunity to train community college students who are historically, for the most part, people who come from communities that have been disproportionately affected by climate change and environmental injustices. So with that, I am going to spend a few minutes talking about who we are, how we were created, before I dive deeper into the different programs that we have. Again, our guiding vision is the one I just explained. Every career is a climate career. And then we see this as an opportunity to make our programs, to create opportunities to advance equity and environmental justice. Our center was established through a assembly bill that appropriated $5 million from the state of California to advance climate education, action, and justice, and expand green career pathways across the state of California. We also received a $1.32 million grant from the Department of Labor, which was what allowed us to initiate the workforce development program that I will tell you more about. That was our summer internship program, which then served as the original framework for all the other programs that we now have. We opened our doors in April of 2023, And this center has supported faculty and students across all 19 colleges in the LARC region, as I mentioned earlier. And as of a few months ago, we are also now, we have been nominated through an MOU with the State Chancellor's Office as the statewide climate curriculum center. And then, we strive to develop programs and demonstration projects that integrate education, so certificates, degrees, with this workforce development that can look differently depending on the program. It can be like a 12 to 16 week long internship program, or it can be a fellowship program in which the students spend more time with employers and also with mentors. So I'll give you a little bit more details on that. And then, of course, community engagement. So creating networks within what we call the climate action ecosystem in the LA region, and then using that as a blueprint for the work that can be done in other regions of California. So integrated approach for us, what we mean by that is this notion that we can co-develop with faculty opportunities for students to get introduced to climate action concepts, to climate solutions, and also at the same time be working with the community partners to be adapting and adjusting the training that we're giving the students based on these ever-changing needs that we have, as the kids say, IRL, right, in the real life. Like, what is it that is changing right now that we need to be constantly updating? So that's what we mean by this integrated approach to what we do. And with that, what we've been able to do in the past 3 years is develop a portfolio of programs that will be suitable to different sectors and also, aligned with what the students are able to invest in terms of their time based on what their goals are. So we started with the summer internship program, which was Every Career is a Climate Career. We offered that for 2 summers, and we served a total of 150 students. These students received some training in the form of non-credit courses or informal workshops, and then they were placed in with host sites, and these could be community-based organizations, they could be for-profit companies or public offices. And I'll talk a little bit more in detail about this, but the part that I want to emphasize is that it was this internship program. It was the fact that we had the $1.32 million to put this into action that allowed us to test different models and pilot things that then led to the development of the fellowships. And now we're really excited to be launching our apprenticeships program, right? Like that's the project that we're actively working on right now. And if anyone on the call is interested in partnering with us, we are looking for industries and entrepreneurs in all sectors and all industries to partner with us on this. All right, so a little bit about our, what we call keys to success. We are student-centered. It's really great to hear Efrain and Cassidy talk about their work because, of course, you can see how the student-centered mentality is what propels programs to do well. Like you can clearly see when you hear about other successful programs. So this notion that we center everything we do, we develop thinking about the student in receiving that feedback, right? Cassie was talking about how her schedules, are adjusted based on the feedback received from students. That's exactly what we do here too. Efrain was talking about the need to adjust the way we teach math, for example, right? That's the same thing we do here. That's the student-centered approach that we take here too. And we're equity focused, meaning we know that our students, they cannot afford an internship without getting paid. There's just no way they can take the time to be in an internship program without getting some sort of financial support. That's just the reality of the majority of the students we serve. We have a situation in which our students, they're dealing with homelessness. They're dealing with not having access to basic needs, to food sometimes. And so these are things that need to be taken into consideration when we create these programs. So for us, and then another way in which we integrate approach is by creating opportunities for our students to benefit from wraparound services that already exist in our college or in the college that they go to, because we, of course, have programs that will be bringing students from other colleges in the region. So we try to make sure that the students are connected with these internal partners. So, Black Students Unions, Emoja, Rising Scholars, Adult Ed, EOPS, Basic Needs, all of those are programs that offer extra assistance to the students. And we make sure that when we create our programs, we connect with these partners. And then we have our external partners. This list is not, by no means the complete list of partners, but there's some that I would like to highlight here. We have a really good partnership with a group called the California Youth Leadership Corps. That's SILC right there. And they're a part of a broader organization called the Community Learning Partners. These have been fantastic partners. They fund one of our fellowships that I will talk a little bit more in a minute. We have a really great relationship with United LA, the LA Clean Tech Incubator, the US Green Building Council of California, and Alta C. And like I said, we have over 65 partners that have served as host sites. So of course, I couldn't name them all, but it's a critical component of what we do are those partnerships that we have in what we call the LA Climate Ecosystem, LA Climate Action Ecosystem. We created program, we have a good partnership with our Career Center. And in our partnership with the Career Center, we're able to recruit grad students who are studying to become counselors, and we train them to become student success coaches and to serve our students that are part of the internships and fellowship programs. And like I said, our programs are paid, the students get paid. We have, like I said, we're really excited about the apprenticeship program that we're developing right now and want to find more partners. Okay, so a little bit more on this. How am I doing on time? I think I'm actually at time. So I'm not going to go into all those details, but we have all those different programs. The one that we are actively working right now is called Building Resilient Futures. It's a fellowship program that was funded through the California's Jobs First program. And it's a partnership with LARC. So I want to highlight this one because it's something that we think is going to lead to lots of new opportunities for the region. Yeah, and in terms of funding sustainability, I guess I can answer questions in the Q&A if you have, but like I said, we had seed money and then we apply for grants. That's big part of what I do is writing grant proposals. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And thank you so much. Really appreciate you all.
Thank you, Joe. There's so much ground to cover too. It's so many things that you're doing in your initiatives. It's really exciting. And to our attendees, if you have any questions, feel free to go in the Q&A chat and submit them. I do have a couple questions here. So what strategies do you feel like has been most effective in sustaining long-term partnership with K-12 industry and community stakeholders?
Yes, having the ability to sit with those partners often and to really understand what drives them. Really not coming to them with a fully formed idea and then, expecting them to just work with you on what you want without first giving them a chance to be active participants in the process of developing the programs. I think that's been critical. It's like involving everyone in the beginning, having these consultations early on so that we can create these two-way communication channels and adjust as we move forward. Of course, over the last 3 years, there was a huge shift in funding structures, funding availability, and not just the money, but in terms of priorities. Climate at the federal level right now is considered to be not a problem anymore, and if anything is the opposite. And so all that has affected our ability to do the programming that we do, and it is the partnerships with all these groups, the K-12, the external, the industries and the CBOs that has allowed us to be able to adapt. And again, it's meeting with them often, having these conversations, convening, right? Having symposia, having our annual Climate Palooza, which is coming up in April. So creating opportunities for these groups to come together and to be actively participating in the design phase.
Amazing. Yeah, we're part of a community, right? So what more important than convening to really listen and connect what's important? Um, we've got another question here. How are you embedding equity and environmental justice outcomes across all your programs, not just climate specific initiatives?
Yeah, so we have, besides the workforce development programs that I listed here, we also do work directly with faculty in our district. So we are in part of the LA Community College District. There are 9 colleges. And so in addition to what I showed here, we have an equal large, pretty much that portfolio that you saw for workforce development, we also have a portfolio for education, classroom education. And that's where we've been doing this work of bringing environmental equity, not just climate, to the students. And we do that through something called Climate Across the Curriculum, which was initiated in this college, and then it has evolved into what we call Equity in Environmental Education. That's the program. And we've had 50 faculty that were stipended to include modules focusing on environmental education, regardless of subject. So you can have, for example, if you're taking, you can be taking Spanish 101 in one of our 9 colleges, and if that course got quote unquote climatized, or if it went through the process of the environmental equity program that I'm describing, the student will learn about the effects of climate change, the narrative from a person from, say, Guatemala who lost their ability to grow crops there in Spanish, right? Like, so kinesiology, students are learning about the effects of air pollution and or extreme heat for athletes. So we have these contextualized modules that have been developed with our funding and support. And I think that's what we combine that with the workforce development. We try to make sure the students have access to that information in the classes they're taking, and then connecting that with the workforce development opportunities.
That's amazing. So was that like a one-off opportunity for faculty to incorporate those things into like that climate education modules into their work, or is this like an ongoing initiative?
So yeah, that's a great question. So what we do here with the money that we have, right? Like, this is an operation that is running on $6 million really from beginning out. Like, we bring smaller amounts of money, but we are not able to create programs that get sustained over years unless we get another amount of money to support this. So what we do is we create blueprints, we create demonstration projects. So this project that I mentioned, the original one, the Climate Across the Curriculum, we offered it for 3 years here in this one college with a limited number of faculty, because we were trying to kind of perfect the model, like really get to the point where we were like, okay, this is a good model. And then the one that was district wide, we are not financially able to support that this year. So what we're doing is we're taking the model to the state chancellor's office, and they've been really great at looking at what we're doing and comparing to other initiatives around the state to see if we can leverage the investment we made to inform, other initiatives in other regions. So that's kind of what we're taking out.
Amazing. That's great to hear that there's some more opportunity for maybe making this again like something replicable statewide, because I think it's definitely needed. And on that note, I just want to read the shout out that you got from Dr. Narine McKeegan, which we're also a fan of. Hey, Narine. But she says Dr. Jo Tavares is an exceptional leader whose expertise, passion, and deep knowledge guide this work with excellence. We are truly honored to have her as our partner in this effort, leading these initiatives for our 19 strong colleges and across the state. So yes.
Yay. Yay. I'm a big fan of hers too. So this is great. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you, Joe, for joining us. I appreciate all that you've shared. And as we begin to wrap up, and I bring this webinar series, the season of a webinar series to a close, I want to once again offer a very heartfelt thank you to all of our presenters, Efrain, Cassidy, and Dr. Joe Tavares. Thank you so much. Your leadership, your work embody the very innovation, care, and impact we've been celebrating throughout this series, and we're so grateful for the time, thoughtfulness, and all the innovations that you shared with us today. Unveiling Future Careers, CTE Showcase was made possible through a regional joint venture awarded by the Bay Area Community College Consortium with a shared goal of elevating career technical education, fostering collaboration, and lifting up models that truly support student successes across our colleges. It's been an honor to help bring these stories forward. Thank you to our BACCC, regional directors, Kit and Ann, for their vision and leadership at the BACCC, and to BACCC Strategic Regional Director, Michelle. Thank you for all the guidance, support, and monthly meetings that help shape the success of this series. We couldn't have done it without you, and to all our partners at the BACCC, thank you for supporting this. Because this is our season finale, I also want to extend a huge thank you to all of our presenters from earlier sessions across the 6-part series. And I know some of y'all are on this call, so hi. But we had the privilege of spotlighting 18 programs across the state. This project has been, like, personally, I will say, joyful, thought-provoking, and deeply uplifting. So as an educator myself, I walk away really inspired, and not only by the programs that we were able to feature, but also just by being grounded in the broader movement of dedicated professionals doing powerful work for students every single day. That's why we're here as educators, right? To be in service of our communities, our students, and to do the right thing by them, even when, and especially when it's hard, and in these challenging times. So to everyone who's joined us, whether today is your first webinar or you've been with us since the beginning, thank you. Thank you for showing up, for engaging, and for being part of this community of colleges. We hope these conversations have sparked new ideas, strengthened connections, and reinforced the importance of investing in career technical education. But before you log off, we truly appreciate it if you could take a couple minutes to complete our post-webinar survey. The link is in the chat now. Thank you, Pat. Your feedback helps us reflect on the full arc of this series and envision what's next. What do you want to see? As a small token of our appreciation, as I said, those first 60 respondents that qualify get a $20 DoorDash gift card for lunch, with the option to opt out, though, if you prefer. If you'd like to revisit any part of the series, Pat will also share information in the chat about accessing our previous webinars. We love for you to continue exploring and sharing these stories. Thank you for joining us on this CTE Showcase journey. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.